What's up, Title Tribe? Happy week one of the NFL season. Happy Friday. We just witnessed the Detroit Lions play the Kansas City Chiefs, beat the Kansas City Chiefs 21-20 Thursday Night Football. And to be honest, Thursday Night Football hasn't always been great, but last season they picked it up. This year, starting with week one, great game, highly competitive, two teams that were getting after it, two good coaches. Week one usually it's frustrating, especially as a fan. Behind me you see my Cowboys jersey. I'm here at the Daily Bugle because I'm reporting the news live. Usually week one, I don't really feel like teams are what they are until about week 3, week 4. But I think overall, there were a lot of drops last night, so there was some sloppy football, but it was 21-20 and came down to the wire. And I liked what I saw, but I'm here to give you kind of my immediate fantasy football reaction to the outcome from this week one matchup, Thursday Night Football. Okay. First one, Patrick Mahomes is going to be fine. He scored 23 points last night, went 21 for 39, 226 yards, 2 touchdowns, an interception. I bet the over on 3.5 touchdowns. I was wrong, but 23 points is okay. He didn't have Travis Kelce, who's his guy. He's got young receivers in Sky Moore, Justin Ross, Rashee Rice, Kadarius Toney. Spread the ball out. Only one receiver had over 3 receptions, and that was Isaiah Pacheco. He targeted 10 receivers, okay? None of them had over 50 yards. I think when Travis Kelce comes back, and I think as I'm going to allude to this a little later on, some guys like Rashee Rice and Justin Ross, who I think have the potential to be alphas in this offense, ex-receivers, outside guys, and which will make Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney's job easier. When those guys start to get it starts to come together, they get more experience. Patrick Mahomes is a floor like 20 points. I mean, it was a slow week and he had 23 points. So don't panic. He's going to be fine. There are a lot of questions in the Gilded chat. So shout out toiletstotitles.com. I guess I should mention you can find me on the Twitter at Coach Schepps. You can find the show on Twitter at Toilets to Titles. We have a Gilded chat. There's an app called Gilded. It's like Discord. And we have over 220 people in there. And we're talking fantasy football nonstop, star sits, trades. We're talking gambling. We're talking NFL. We have live streams in there during NFL games. And there's a lot of questions yesterday about Noah Gray. I personally thought Noah Gray would step in. He'd be fine due to his athleticism, which they alluded to last night. I think he ran like a 4.6 40. And due to the need for a tight end in the offense, due to Andy Reid, being able to scheme guys open, and due to, Patrick Mahomes just being Patrick Mahomes. And I mean, he didn't really do that well. He had 3 receptions, 27 yards, 6 points, which probably be 8 or 9 if it was tight end premium. So he was okay, but he's not Travis Kelce. I never said he was, but he didn't even sniff that number. And Chiefs need him, and Noah Gray is a bench player. He's a bench stash, and you hope he develops. But without Travis Kelce, you want to start somebody else. Amon-Ra St. Brown, still that dude, like legitimately 6 for 71. I know my guy Nino. Shout out to Nino. I think he had him in his top 5 this year. I had him in my top 7 or 8. Week 1, 6 receptions, 71 yards, and everyone knew he's their guy. Like everyone knows it. Doesn't matter. Got it done. 11.8 yards per reception, the touchdown, which was 19 points. Lined up in the backfield a bit. I think once or twice is like an up back. I thought they were going to, like Monty was behind him. I thought there was going to be some trickery, fake to Monty, give to Amon-Ra. Amon-Ra downhill, lead blocking. And then I saw some jet sweeps where he was lead blocking. So people who play fantasy football and have Amon-Ra, they were holding their breath during those situations. But that tells you, dude's tough, and that team believes in him. So shout out to Amon-Ra. Jared Goff is a guy I was touting all offseason as a guy who's a late round quarterback and super flex, ideal quarterback too. It's tough to play in Arrowhead Stadium where the Kansas City Chiefs play. He got 16 points. All right, so I guess I shouldn't be making excuses. 22 for 35, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. He did enough to win the game. He helped. All right, he didn't look awesome. He looked very immobile. Very immobile. He's not a mobile guy. But his offensive line is going to get better throughout the season. I think he's a good quarterback too in Superflex. And I think the weeks where he's back in Detroit, like next week, you're going to see him top 20 points regularly. So I still feel he's good. He's not a guy I want to start in a 1 quarterback league. He's a guy, on bye weeks. But Superflex, I think he's a quarterback 2 with a high ceiling. Guy I really like, Sam Laporta. All right, tight end at Iowa. He had the second most targets in the Detroit Lions. There's a lot of people nervous because this tight end class is very good, and a lot of people are investing draft capital and fantasy into these guys because the NFL teams drafted high draft capital into them as well. And year one, usually tight ends don't succeed. 5 receptions on 5 targets, 39 yards, 8 points. It's not a phenomenal day, but he had the second most targets on the team in a very hostile environment in his first game experience of his life. And he had a situation where Trent McDuffie, I believe that's named the DB from out of Washington, who's in Kansas City now. Laporta caught a ball and was like heading outward, and there was no one in front of him. And I call Laporta a yak god, man. He was the best yards after contact tight end in all college football last year, or at least of draft eligible guys. Because shout out to Brock Bowers. But man, if he would have broke that tackle, I thought he was. I thought he'd be like 20, 30 more yards. That takes 8 points to 13, 14 points. He's going to have that potential every week. I'm not concerned about him. If I didn't invest in a tight end early, I'm very excited. And next week he's home in Detroit. He's going to top 10 points easy. Some things I'm worried about: Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney, which I have 0 shares of. They had a chance. They didn't capitalize. Kadarius Toney, he's a meme right now. I don't even need to throw any dirt on this guy. All right, he's doing it for himself. 5 targets, 1 reception, 1 yard, multiple drops, 1 big drop that led to a Brian Branch TD. So shout out to him. 1 point. And this guy Moore, man, 3 targets, 0 receptions, 1 carry, 4 yards. What's concerning is this was their opportunity without Travis Kelce to show to Patrick Mahomes, I'm that guy. Kelsey's gone. I'm going to step up. I'm your safety blanket. Neither of them did that. But Rashee Rice did. 5 targets, 3 receptions, 29 yards, 1 touchdown, 11 points in his rookie debut. I'm expecting him to see more action. And I'm also expecting Justin Ross to see more action. He had 1 target, 1 reception, 6 yards. There was a situation in the red zone. I saw at least one. Maybe there was multiple, but I saw one where he was lined out wide. He was isolated, like 5 yards from the end zone. And I think they're going to give him, especially when Kelsey's back and the safety's got to come down and Ross is outside. If they're going to put him in those situations, look for some jump balls. If he can come down with those, because he was developing some rapport with Patrick Mahomes. And before he got hurt at Clemson, he was a guy. He's got it together. He stayed healthy. If he can be back to what that was, look for Ross and Rice, because both of those guys have true potential to be X's, outside guys who can get it done. So I'm expecting them to get more looks, more targets. Finally, some more frustration. For NFL, it's good. Detroit Lions love it. But David Montgomery, he's the lead back right now. Could change, but right now, instant reaction. And not only is that what I see, I also see that Gibbs deserves more touches, man. He had some big chunk yardage, breaking tackles, rerouting, misdirecting. David Montgomery, 21 carries, 74 yards, a touchdown, a little over 3 yards a carry, 0 targets, 13 points. Gibbs had 10 carries, 43 yards, 2 receptions for 18 yards, 7 points. It's going to be a hard backfield to have shares of on either end this NFL season. I think what the Lions are likely going to do is they're going to give Gibbs some more touches, but they're going to allow Monty to be the hammer, weaken the defense, and then put Gibbs in and kind of have him take advantage of the defense when they're a little sluggish. All right. So again, this is John Schepps. I'm with toiletstetitles.com. All right. At Toilets the Titles on the Twitter. I'm at Coach Schepps on the Twitter. Any fantasy football start sit questions, reach out to me. I got you. Trade questions. But what I do suggest is join the Title Tribe for free. We have a Gilded chat on the Gilded app. You can reach out to me. I'll get you in there. We got over 200 people in there. We're nonstop, man. Fantasy football, NFL. It's a great community. We're building a good community. We'd like you to be a part of it. All right, everybody, take care. Enjoy your weekend. Happy Friday. All right, we made it. Take care.